had a moment of anxiety, duality, conflict last week. Oh, and what are the main reasons?
Well, we lost our dog. He got out on Thursday, and then a couple days ago, we found him in the backyard. So I feel anxiety.
The harm is reduced?
Not really.
Not really? Ah, you're
No.
still in that. Oh, let us see. Eyes are closed and find out the most comfortable position. The place should also be comfortable. Place means the wherever you are sitting, eyes are closed, and you find out the body is placed comfortably. Position of the body is good, and 1 घंटे बंद रखो भाई, डिस्टर्ब हो रहा है. So eyes are closed, find out the most comfortable place, position, and posture. It is a matter of awareness. Wherever the mind goes, there it receives the feeling and the impression. So those experiences either causes the anxiety or calmness. So being comfortable, your eyes are closed and you are looking at the neck joint. The mind goes back again to the dog, but we bring the mind back to the neck joint. Why? Because we are changing the direction of the mind. So bring the mind back to the neck joint. Again, you feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. The mind goes to the shoulder joints. Feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. There is no stress, no suffering, no anxiety, no reaction that continues forever in our life. My mom passed away, dad passed away, brother passed away, uncle passed away. Now there is hardly any trace of that suffering. Why? Because the suffering that we experience is of temporary nature. So what to talk about the dog? That is why I asked you, did it reduce? You said no. So in the mind, it feels as if it did not. But normally, it drops down. So, but in order that it should drop down, we change the direction of the mind. Look at the shoulder joints. Means you're looking at the shoulder joint, not looking at the world outside. And you continue to look at there, and you feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. The mind goes to the entire body from the top of the head to the toes, and Feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Now we will move to the next step. Even not only the anxiety, even the addiction makes us uncomfortable when we have an urge for that object or that drug. So you see, the one part of the mind says, no, I want pleasure from this, and at the same time the other part of the mind wants to reject. So sometime one part of the first part of the mind wins and we go for the pleasure. Sometime the second part of the mind wins and we are able to prevent it. But in the state of being comfortable at a higher level, we have a higher level of awareness, and that awareness can meet in the state of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. We have a higher awareness that will surely help in reducing this. Again, this is a part of the contradiction. Now we go to this next step, is being carefree. Very important. Any thought comes, you cannot take the drug or you cannot have an anxiety without a thought. First the thought comes, then the thought prompts me to act, and then I go for it. So we make the mind separate from its contents. What are the contents? The thoughts, feeling, and emotions. Then the desire and the binding desires. Desires and the binding. What are the binding desires? They are also the thoughts, feeling, and emotions that gives a pressure to you to follow it. So in being carefree, just visualize that the entire traffic in the highways. Highway is the deeper layer of the mind. Highway does not change. And the traffic always changes. Even if you have the same route, you drive on a different lane at a different speed. Oh, these are the thought, feeling, and emotions. Can the traffic can stick with the highways? No. It may stop for a while. They are separate, same way. The thoughts, feeling, and emotions are separate from the deeper layer of the mind. That is the meaning of being carefree. So what exactly I should do? You do nothing. You just watch. This thought has come, so this card has come. Second thought, second card. Third thought, third card. Why it has come, it has to go. So this is what we say. Thoughts comes and goes in the mind. You please do not interfere. Let them come. Let them go. Let them come let them go. So at least for 5 sessions, we'll be doing the passive practice, and then after 6th to 10th, we will be doing some active practice to get rid of the contradiction that results in binge eating and other forms of addiction. But that is what I thought. Now the next step that we introduce the thoughts. You have a desire to drink, and you have a desire to be in peace. You see that? You have a desire. So mind has it, not you, but mind has a desire. Mind has a desire for pleasure. So when it has a desire for pleasure, it runs outside. You have a desire for coffee, the mind, it will run outside. But when the mind has a desire for peace and happiness, it turns within, it turns inside. But how? If we do not think, or if we do not say the mantra or the thought, repetition of the thought is the same thing. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve bhavantu sukhina. Let everyone be happy. So I created an acronym, so you should remember this. Let everyone be happy. That acronym is HEART. And the first letter of the heart is H. H means the happiness. Happiness for all. So now you look deep inside, and happiness for myself, it is within me. Happiness for everyone just outside, and happiness for all. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya, sarve santu niramaya, sarve santu niramaya. May there be a state of well-being for all. Means that there should not be any illness. Even addiction, contradiction, anxiety, they are the diseases according to the modern science. We say no. They are the symptoms of a disease. If we remove the contradiction, if we remove the thought and feeling associated with any form of an addiction, it will go away. So let there be a state of well-being. Just be aware of the body, mind, and the breath. Thoughts are coming and going. You're just watching. Sometimes, even the thought of the dog may come, let it come, let it go. Now, when we say let everyone be free from illness, the acronym, the letter E is there. Eliminate illness. So we just think there is a thought, let illness be eliminated from everyone. Then we have the third line, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Let there be an auspiciousness for all. So letter A is auspiciousness in the heart. So auspiciousness also means the blessing. So why we seek a blessing? Oh yeah, We seek blessing from the existence. Because ultimately, existence is the protector, is the guide, indirectly. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavid. Ma kaschid dukha bhag bhavid. The fourth line means the relieve suffering from everyone. So, relieve suffering. We should not be selfish. We should also think, let there will be no suffering in the world. Why? When you think like this is your thought. And the thought associated with the feeling changes our mind. And in the heart, last letter is T. And T means tranquility, shanti. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Om Shanti Shanti. Now in that state we go little deeper. Look at the head and the neck as if you are moving your mind on the skin of the head and the neck and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Now moving the mind on the right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind on the left arm from the shoulder to the fingertips, experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind from the shoulders down to the rib cage and the belly, and from the shoulder down to the spine. It is, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Now move the mind on the right leg from the right side of the waist to the toes, as if your mind is touching the skin of the right leg. You feel the sensation. And when you feel the sensation, it simply means the mind is turning within. And that is what we want. And then experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The mind moving on the left leg from the left side of the waist to the toes. Just check, the mind disturbs the body. Mind makes the changes. Sometimes we know it and sometimes we don't know it. So in both the cases, we maintain our awareness. Maybe in the beginning we don't know, but gradually we will come to know, oh, this is why this is happening. And once you know why this is happening, you are raising your awareness. And what will happen if I raise my awareness? So, in the higher level of awareness, that incomplete knowledge that I depend on, addiction and contradiction will dissolve. When it will come depends on you. So, the left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Now the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, your mind is moving on the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes, and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Let the day come, or your commitment may happen in a week, that your mind experiences the highest level of tingling, numbness, joyful sensations, and total stillness. There in those moments you may not feel urges, or you may not have any thought pushing you. In that state, body is in that state of sensation, relaxation, and stillness, and but the breath is constantly moving. Look at the breath and feel the breath is going in, coming out. Breath is going in and coming out. So you see the stillness in the body. Mind is looking at the breath. And now in that state, when the breath goes in, count mentally, no, without moving the lips and the tongue. So with no lips movement, when the breath goes in, your mind says in one, and when the breath comes out, your mind says out one, then in two, out two. Go on counting, go on counting the breath and check how many times you lose. So check how many times your mind forgets the counting. you continue counting, and yes, it is easy to know when you forget the counting, your mind returns to the breath again and you start the counting. So, those forgetting moments have to be reduced and removed completely. Why? Your mind will go inside. What will happen if the mind goes inside? It will communicate with the inner joy and the peace. And do nothing. Doing nothing means that you are just as you are. You are in that state of doing nothing and experiencing a state of calmness, of peace, and of joy that is not dependent on anything outside. The more and more we experience this every day, every minute, the life is going to change. I hope we will continue this journey without any interruption. Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside. Know your experiences and bring the hands down. How are you feeling now?
Good.
Good?
Very relaxed.
Yeah. So if I remain relaxed, oh, what about anxiety?
None.
You are very good. So the moment we have a calmness and the joy from within, you see that you want to take a cup of coffee. You have to stand up going, you have to go to the kitchen, prepare a cup of coffee, and then sit down and drink. You have to go outside. Any pleasure, whether it's addiction or a coffee or anything. But if I want to know myself, I have to go inside. I have not to go anywhere. I have not to go to the kitchen or restroom or anywhere. Oh, just I have to simply close my eyes. But simply closing my eyes may give you a kind of what with the sleepiness or laziness. So that is why the teacher has to speak. So we have not been tuned what it means by going inside. And that is why I have spoken. And ultimately, it results mind going within, and we experience that state of joy. Now, understand. We will continue. Yes, I was keeping in mind the problem that you had told me. First, we have ideas, then ideas converts into a thought, then the thought converts into a belief, then the belief converts into an experience, and then experience converts into a realization. After realization, our lifestyle changes. What is lifestyle? Our behavior and attitude changes. So when our behavior and attitude changes, we think and speak of that object, that idea, that event, or that incident, what it means. What I told you, ideas, thought, belief, experience, realization, lifestyle, behavior and attitude, then our mind keeps on thinking, speaking, and acting mentally about that object or that idea. Now, instead of an idea, you replace this word with the drug. Drug is a thought, yes. Then the drug and belief. My mind unconsciously believes it gives me pleasure. And that belief has become an experience. That experience have become realization. That realization have entered into the lifestyle. Lifestyle means a specific behavior and attitude. So specific behavior and attitude, specific behavior and attitude. It is supported by thought, speech, and action of that object. So you can say that is what the addiction is. I'm making it simple in this series. So what happens? So my mind is constantly looking for that event, that idea, that thought. It is present subconsciously, and it from the subconscious it triggers. What do you mean by trigger? Trigger has an idea with an emotion. That is what the trigger is. It may have the body may have a trigger to go to the washroom, trigger may have a trigger for the coffee, may have a trigger for the hunger, may have a trigger for the fear. So it's a thought with emotion, thought with the feeling. So what happens? So once we have understood this clearly, you have to sit down, you say, okay, let me watch. Thought, any thought pertaining to an object with emotion, and resolve that I will not move for an hour from this position or this state of the body. Come what may. So your mind has an idea, oh, let me have a cup of tea, but I resolve that I'm not going to move. So now replace the urge for a coffee to the drug. Now at least 1 hour I don't move. It is not a question of taking or not taking. You are thinking in your mind. Don't react. Now my main focus is that I will not move. 1 hour should be minimum. You cannot say it should be 5 minutes. Then you will fail again. 5 minutes you will fail. So it has to be a little longer period. Now we will go a little deeper into it. We have negative thoughts that brings our negative behavior and attitude. Positive thought, it gives us positive thought brings a positive behavior and attitude. Are you getting it? Are you understanding?
Yes.
So we may have a thought with an imagination of pleasure. We may have a thought for imagination of a pain. We may have a thought pertaining to reaction. As you told me before, you had an extreme reaction against another woman. Women and men, they both have uh, some kind of jealousy. So it's not a big deal. So it's okay. So So you see that how to change that. Now, how to change that thought so that I will create a new belief, new experience, new realization, new lifestyle, new behavior and attitude, new thought and speech and action. So the Eastern wisdom says consistent practice, listening and learning, contemplation and reflection, practice and experience, and before you go to the sleep, you simply daily analysis. You simply think in your mind how many times I had an episodes of anxiety, reaction, duality, how many times I expressed it outside and what is the result, and how many times I kept it inside and it caused me reaction, anger, and anxiety. And then ask the question why, and then bring this principle, ideas, belief. Huh? Ideas is a thought, belief, experience, realization, lifestyle, behavior, and attitude, and then I start living it. So when your mind inside looks at those subtler layers, or simply you are thinking, you will loosen the impact of the idea, thought, and a feeling of addiction. Can it happen in a day? No. You have to consistent. You have to be consistent, repeating again and again and again and again. So then only what we get a will, we get a determination, and we get a inner strength. So many people have they always ask the question how to gain that determination, will, and the inner strength. Single thing, consistent listening, learning, contemplation, reflection, practice, and change in experience and daily analysis. How long? It depends on you. You simply follow it. Do the practice daily. So, in the last session, we know the story of Kesa who went to the Buddha regarding, do you remember? Regarding her son. Could you see the determination? And do you also see the total frustration in her life? She got frustrated, she was crying, but also she had a determination. then how my son can become alive again. So, if we don't have a determination in the midst of this suffering, then it is challenging, it is difficult. So, this aspect of the mind is known as a mental maturity. I should have a kind of mental maturity. What is mental maturity? Your kids, you have daughters, they are living their childhood life. So in that childhood, they don't have a mental maturity. We all know it. Even we were also immature at their age. So if we have a mental maturity, now that is the first example. Second example, what is this mental maturity? Simple definition. I will not act without clearly understanding what is right, good, and proper for me. That is what the mental maturity is. What it is, right, good, and proper for me to act upon is what mental maturity. Now I have an urge to take a coffee. Yes, I've been taking it. So it's okay. Normal. But when it comes to the drug, what is right? Your mind starts thinking what is right, what is good, and what is proper. Definitely, it is improper, it is not good. I have to say to my mind, don't try to fight with the thought. You introduce the new thought. Is it right for me? No, it is not right for me. It is good for me? No, it is not good for me. Is it proper for me? No, it is. Sometime I have to spend the money hiding from Eric to get it. Now, I'm making my own statement. I don't know. But it happens with everyone. Those who are in addiction, it happens. It's a normal thing. It's a normal. Uh, so you see that. So now, what is right, what is good, and what is proper? That is the second part of this. So we are introducing. Then we will go deeper. We'll be doing a lot of practices to get rid of this addiction. So when you are constantly repeating what is right, good, and proper for you, and your mind is saturated, mental maturity comes, it changes your behavior and attitude. When the behavior and attitude changes, it changes our personality. When it changes our personality, it changes our personal, professional, social life. Can it happen in a day? No. By consistent listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. So you should be very frank and forthwith of whatever is happening in your mind, how your mind is thinking. You have to tell me, so that will help me to help you. So daily practice. You wake up in the morning, first thing that you do the practice. In the evening, you do the practice. During the day, you are chanting the mantra. And during the day, you remember that what is right, good, and proper. I think, yeah, I didn't tell you this story, but I will just a real life story. Are you feeling sleepy? Yes. So it is a story of a great poet and a spiritual master whose name is Tulsi Das. He lived in 17th century. 17th century means almost around 300 to 400 years back. He was a great wrestler, a great wrestler. Normally in India, we say that their mind of a wrestler is located in the knees. What it means, they have a very low IQ. That is the meaning. It is not true, but in some cases it is true. He got married, happy with his wife, totally obsessed. So he had an obsession for sensual pleasure. Couple of months passed away. His wife went to her parents' home. As we also go, for about a week. Tulsi Das could not resist it because now he has a habit of those getting the sensual pleasure. So in the midnight, he lost control. He lost his mental maturity. He ran to her, he ran to his wife's house. Then he thought that, if I knock the door, my wife's parents will open up in the midnight what they will think. So I have to hide. I have to hide my obsession for the pleasure. So he did not knock the door. His wife was on the second floor, so he just climbed and entered into the room of the wife. The story will end in a minute, but you have to understand the message of the story. It is a real story. Tulsidas wrote a book on spirituality in the story form, which is known as the Ramcharitmanas, and almost more than 1 billion people are aware of his book. He did not promote it. And then I'll leave you from that story to think about it. So I told you that Tulsidas got an obsession for sensual pleasure, so that's why he could not resist separated from his wife even for a single day. On the midnight uh, he went to his wife's home, and he did not want to expose himself of his pleasures, his obsession. So he did not knock the door. He jumped and climbed to the second floor. He entered into his room of his wife. Obviously, the wife should be taken aback. She was surprised. What happened? Why you are here? I love you, honey, so much. His wife sat down. He asked him to sit down on the bed. He said, I can understand your obsession and intense desire for a pleasure. Wife. Now, wife is talking. If you had the same intense desire for this self discovery, you should have been a realized and awakened and enlightened person who would be helping not only me, yourself, but millions of other people. Self discovery, insight. Are you listening? what Tulsidas did. Tulsidas jumped from the second floor. He left the home. He went to the bank of a Ganges river. It's a very sacred river. There he had a teacher. He studied day and night for 10 years. He got enlightenment. He wrote this book, which has become famous. So that is the way to change the direction of our obsession from So the first story was a story because of frustration. I want something. I'm attached to my son. In case of a kissa, she was deadly attached to the son. So there was also an attachment and obsession. In case of Tulsidas, there is also an attachment and obsession. And that attachment and obsession prevents me to change myself. Even though at the external level, the attachment and obsession appears different, but it may be any kind of attachment and obsession, you can have it. So our master says that whatever is changing in life is not you. Whatever is impermanent is not you. So Tulsidas' wife also had the same understanding in a different way. He said to her husband, if you go for this self-discovery, or if you can reach and find the God, you will be enlightened. So that real self is permanent, unchanging. These sensual pleasures, how long they last? They come and go. That is one. In case of a kissa, I cannot cry forever. Nope, not possible. Not possible. But she could realize throughout the day, she knocked the door of every one in the village and realized that death is inevitable. It is birth and the death are temporary phases of my life. So if we have a belief and understanding, even the addiction is temporary. You are not addicted since birth. Not addicted since birth. It was not there, it is there, it will not be there. So that understanding we should keep in mind in order to march ahead.